It is time for This Week in Location-Based Marketing. This is episode number 47. We're recording this live between Asif and I on Sunday, October 16th. A brisk Sunday, October 16th. My name is Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv, and with me, as always,
Asif Khan from the Location-Based Marketing Association.
Yeah, found everywhere on the internets. Those internet things. TheLBMA.com, at TheLBMA on the Twitter, at Asif R. Khan on Twitter for his personal account. Where else? Is there anywhere else they can find you?
No, that should be it.
Yeah. Just, well, you know, I think we should...
At Rob Woodbridge.
Oh, yes. That's me.
Yeah.
You can find me and my Twitter spam at Rob Woodbridge. And it ranges now between anything from baseball to the mobile space and also my complaints about Rogers, the worst carrier on the planet.
I'll concur with that.
Yes. You terrible, terrible company, Rogers. I give you so much money, you give me no respect. But we're here to talk about location-based marketing. I suppose Rogers isn't going to sponsor this now, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good bet.
You know, I keep knocking off our sponsors every time I open my mouth. Asif, it was a busy week last week. Obviously, the iPhone 4S, came out with a whole bunch of stuff. And, part of that is what we're going to be talking about in the stories. We got 4 great stories. We got 3 funding stories. 1 acquisition, 2 funding stories. Got a great product from Israel. Mm-hmm. And we've got the mobile wallet survey, which is not surprising, I think, to anybody that is involved in this industry about the acceptance and willingness to pay with a mobile device. But before we go there, you're heading off tomorrow, bright and early, Monday morning. So when you guys are listening to this or watching this, know that Asif has been up for like 12 hours already. And is on a plane somewhere over the United States on his way to San Jose. Is that right?
San Jose, yeah. The LocNav or Location Navigation Conference put on by the Ware Business. Out there for the first half of the week, anyways, and a couple workshops on location-based measurement and cross-platform media integration and great panels and all kinds of fun stuff going on. So yeah.
Very, very, very cool. Yeah, I mean, California this time when it gets cold like this, yeah. You don't have to convince me to go. So anybody who's out there wants me to go. I just came back from San Diego, beautiful cities, 32 degrees, sunny the whole time. It was beautiful, except I was at CTIA, and CTIA is I don't even know, a sore on the mobile space. What I saw there was a disaster. It was a terrible, terrible event. It will probably sully my reason to go to an event like that ever again. I will never go to CTIA again. It's just terrible.
Right. Well, it's sort of one of those conferences that I think is kind of, it's been around forever and it's kind of dying slowly. Somebody
should just take it out back.
Kind of like Comdex.
Exactly like Comdex. Somebody should actually ask Siri on the iPhone 4S. There's all this jokes around, I need to dispose of a body. Where do I go? And it gives you an answer. You're looking for a quarry. It's very funny. But somebody should, hopefully, if I ask Siri, which I can't because I can't get a phone from Rogers anyways, but if I ask Siri, what should we do with CTIA, they'll say put a bullet in it. Take it out back and beat it to death because it's already been done. So hopefully your event sounds much better than mine was last week. But let's get right into the news, shall we?
Yeah.
This isn't the rant. This is the news. So big stories this week. Why don't we start with this, which is not a unique story, because somewhat of a perplexing story. However, it's another location-based check-in app built on Foursquare that is for the road warrior, the traveler. This is Lamar.
Yeah, so this is one that I'm really excited about. Not because there's anything revolutionary in the sense that the app is built on top of Foursquare data, but it goes right to what I've been talking about, what the LBMA talks about all the time, which is this need for bringing all of the different types of media together. And in this case, Lamar is one of the largest outdoor billboard companies that exists in North America, and that's what they're known for. And they've said, look, as people are on those interstate highways traversing the U.S., they're looking for a certain restaurant, or they're looking for whatever, and they don't know where to stop, and maybe they don't have the points of interest in their in-car navigation systems, I guess is what they're saying. So we're going to put out an app, and they put out an app called RoadNinja, And this this app basically, brings up, you go and you say, okay, where's the McDonald's, the next McDonald's coming up, or Burger King, or whatever it is you're looking for, and it shows it to you. The unique part here, which isn't all that unique. It's just a a revenue model for them. But that is that if you're an existing advertiser on the billboard side with Lamar, then pushing ads or offers or deals inside of the app are free.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything. And so there's this great little synergy that comes together between the two different platforms.
Yeah, that's an interesting part because these companies are obviously trying to figure out how they can add a little bit of value, and but this might be that perfect blend. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more innovation. I mean, these guys they have billboards. Start using those billboards, right? Tie into the billboards, do a QR code or some kind of augmented reality or something like that pushes the dial here, because this is yet another app.
Yeah.
What is that?
So far none of that. Although they have been using. I know that in one of the articles I read that it said that they've got about 1,000 of their digital and static billboards they've been using to promote the app and let people know that it's out there. So.
So this is but it's like, so they don't have enough people advertising them, so they promote their own app.
Yeah.
I think that they have the mechanism to do this, but there's nothing unique. We both agree on this. There's nothing unique of this other than it's a company that is in the billboard space that is looking at ways to cross that boundary, and that's what's unique about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, this is something I talk about all the time. So I appreciate the effort. I expect every billboard company should be doing something along these lines and more. I mean, as you said, augmented reality, integration with QR codes, all kinds of stuff you can do on digital signage in similar frameworks to this. So a good first step, hopefully more to come.
Yeah, well, that's good. So Sonar launches their location-based travel app. It's called RoadNinja. It's only available in the U.S. I tried to download it here, but there's no data, obviously, for our interstate. We don't have one. We have highways, not interstates, interprovince. It's called RoadNinja, all one word. If you're in the States, go and take a look at it. Check it out and see if it's of any value. They say, I'm struggling with it because I think that Google Maps does a great job, and so does my Navigon GPS. But if you don't have that, and this is a free app, why not? Why not do it?
Yeah, I think the only difference here is that if you're driving and you're using this in that kind of a setting, and you're contrasting that against your in-car navigation system, today, I'll argue that those in-car navigation systems don't have deals being pushed to you.
Right. So that's the second part of this. That's another part, is that they're pushing deals, right?
Right. They're pushing deals. They're pushing offers, promotions, whatever you want to call them. So I think, there's this little window until, although guys like Navtech, in Europe are doing lots of that. So, there's this little window of opportunity. Anyways.
Do you think, let me ask you this, just on a side, do you think that that a company like Navigon or some of the big, I don't know, equipment-based GPS guys, the ones that we used to use, like TomTom, all these guys, do you think that they would look at a Groupon or Living Social and buy those guys? Like, based on this kind of stuff, do you think that there's an opportunity for those guys? Is that
I think there's huge opportunities. I mean, for me, that the car, as a device, and the potential for building, whether it's the ability to push deals, inside of, the navigation systems, whether it's the ability to bring augmented reality stuff into the windscreens, whatever it is, I think there's so much opportunity. Internet radio, I mean, all kinds of stuff, right? To me, that's where a lot of the innovation is going to come in the next kind of 2 years or so.
I wonder. So, I mean, here I'll call it is that I think that maybe TomTom or one of these GPS guys should go and buy a Groupon. I'd wait a couple of months because their valuation just keeps doing this.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. You should be able to pick that up for a cool $3 billion.
Exactly, pretty soon. And then maybe even less. I'd wait. I'd hold off. Yeah. Maybe at some point they'll pay TomTom for it to acquire them. But okay, so Lamar launches that. Go and take a look at it. It's called RoadNinja, and you've heard another little prediction here that somebody's going to buy Groupon, or wait till they go to business. Second story. This is a pretty cool one. Foursquare is getting embedded inside of or embedding themselves in iOS. They're leveraging iOS 5 functionality, and this is pretty neat. It's
neat. It's neat because it takes advantage of kind of the new feature set, that comes with iOS 5, right? This ability to kind of know where people are. as a native function inside of iOS 5. It's not new in terms of it as a service offering. We just talked the other week about Genomium over in the UK, and there's Google Latitude previous to that. I mean, this is a service basically about knowing where people are around you, and things that that they want to do. I mean, this is the the discovery part of location, right? And all that Foursquare is saying is up until now, you can find places, you can check into places, we can push you recommendations, we can tell you a bunch of stuff about those places. Here's a bunch of tips and information. But now we can use this native functionality inside of iOS. We're going to call it Radar. I actually like the name. I don't think it's too bad. And it alerts you, of people who've opted in to be part of your network as to where they are.
Yep,
it's good.
It is, but it's not unique. But this is a natural step, obviously, in iOS, because of iOS 5. Was there anything that, I mean, this didn't strike me as anything other than when I think bigger picture. I think that certainly Facebook's app is going to get to this point, right? Where it's going to be much more comprehensive. You as somebody who's using Facebook and the Facebook app on the iPhone, they just have such a great reach that all 180 or 200 or 300 of your friends are going to be part of this until they opt out. So you will know this, just like Sonar, right? Where you're basically checking the perimeter around you to see who's in the building or who's near you. And how you're related to them, how your relationship is for them. So it's one of these things that Foursquare, maybe was on the cusp of innovation 2.5, 3 years ago. It seems to me like struggling now to fill this in. And they have to do this. It's a pretty cool feature, but I just see Facebook when they're ready to kind of storm.
Yeah, the question with this kind of thing becomes, and I would say also, if Facebook decides to go here, becomes, what are the groupings of people, and how much control do you have around the groupings of the people, right? So is it everybody that's in my network? I can see where they are. Can I say I only want to see friends and family? How much granularity is there? And then that opens up the question of things like Google Circles and stuff
Google
like
Plus. I think is a big one. Yeah. Right.
And so, as you say, it's a feature that's got to be there. Well, it remains for me to be seen how it gets rolled out in terms of do they start to kind of fine tune it a little bit.
Well, you know what, I railed about it last week on I do this thing called the Daily Mobile Minute, and I talk about don't be the feature of somebody else's product, and the way I'm looking at it right now is that Foursquare is one big feature of somebody else's greater product, and I don't know how you guys feel who are listening or watching this, but it's how I felt for a long time. I could never put my finger on it, but Foursquare is not a complete product. And, I just have never felt that. And the growth has stalled. Remember, the prediction is 20 million. Your prediction, if it's not 20 million by the end of this calendar year, that growth has stalled considerably, right?
Right.
So, but it's good that they're integrating. Everybody has to integrate with iOS 5. They're...
no, I'm glad they've done it. I just, we'll see how it actually plays out. I'm not sure the Foursquare users is going to take to it.
Well, the Foursquare user has a core user, which is the check-in, and I'm surprised. I see so many people. I check in every once in a while, and I look at it. I don't get any of the notifications because I don't need to know that you've checked into an Esso station. I just don't. I don't care that you're at an Esso station. Don't do that. So, third story is that this is interesting because the whole E911 mandate that came out in the late 90s that and now the FCC is requiring the GPS to be in every phone by 2018, which just seems like a ridiculous time, like 2018.
Yeah, I don't know how they come up with these things, but
2018
is a long way off in today's pace of technology innovation. Number one, I don't know about that, but what kind of blew me away with this is that they're basically saying that it has to be in all wireless operators, including voice over IP and landline providers.
Yeah, what? Such a massive invasion of privacy.
Landline providers in 2018?
I don't think so. You hear that, Rogers?
Well,
I'm not going to be one of your customers.
They're all going to convert over to cellular.
this is such an invasion of privacy, right? Like the concerns are massive around this when it says like every phone has to be at least inherently trackable. You can understand from the security side and the safety side, which I think is a great balance. But you've also got to look at it from the I'm being tracked, and granted, I'm tracked all day, but this has some pretty widespread security issues. But I tend to agree with this, that if it can save time and save lives.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on it. I think it's a good move. I question the 2018 timeline. That's a long way off for me. And secondly, this is motivated by the 911 initiative and being able to find people in emergency situations. And I do think it spurs along more moves a la the iOS move from Apple. I mean, I think you're going to see that now a lot faster because of this kind of notion, and using this as backup for defending against any notion from the consumer public saying we don't want to be tracked. Well, all you got to do is go to the FCC says this has to be there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean.
Well, its location is dial tone, man. That's what this is. Yeah. But it's being dictated by the man.
But I guess they're saying is that it's dial tone in 2018.
2018, which I think that's 7 years is an incredibly long time. I mean,
right.
Pretty soon we're gonna have GPSs embedded in us by that time, right? We're not gonna need a phone. You're gonna have swallowed that pill when you were born. You'll be tracked all the time. The man will know where you are all the time.
Anyhow.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all good.
Sorry. Number 4 is now this is My Local Walmart, a Facebook app. You got to walk through this. What?
So what this is Walmart's basically saying, look, they've got, and I was actually shocked when I read this number. There's 3,600 stores in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay. And each of those stores runs local ad campaigns, for whatever the specials that are going on, the print flyer, the radio commercials, et cetera, et cetera. And they've said, look, that's great. It's been fairly effective, but, we're in a digital world and we need to empower each of these stores individually to kind of have their own digital presence. And for us, we think that's Facebook. And so they basically launched a Facebook app that can be customized for each individual location, local deals, local events, product distribution, whatever, and that's going to be turned over, to the local store to fully control and program. And it's an interesting notion, and I think for me, I think this could be quite effective, and I think if you're if I think about the Canadian marketplace and some retailers we have here, like franchise-based retailers like Canadian Tire, people like that, this kind of move could be quite effective.
You think that obviously this is on Facebook. It's pretty effective on Facebook. But what about? I think that this would be a much greater mobile play as well. And I think that that's one of the things. Certainly with the new Facebook app and their adoption of HTML5. Maybe there's a way to port these apps over into the Facebook app. But I like the way that this is going. But I love the idea as well. But I would have liked to have seen this as a mobile play as well. But,
and that may be part of the kind of second round of where they want to go with this. But they basically came out and said, look, this is they've got 9 million or 9.4 million Walmart does Facebook fans.
That's insane.
So they're basically trying to leverage, that group as kind of the first group of people that are going to engage with this. So it's interesting, and they also see the ability to tie real-time data into this as well. So they can look at the local weather or local events that are going on. So if you're at a Walmart that's close to, in the press release they said if you're at a Walmart that's close to a NASCAR race that's going on in your town or whatever it is, or a fishing tournament or whatever, we can run local promotions through that app to kind of drive products that are related to it.
I would expect no less from Walmart. The only thing that I'm surprised is that this is a direct cost that is borne by the company, that isn't about reducing reducing the cost of their merchandise or the cost of their channel. So when they're putting money into it like this, it's a big deal to them.
Right.
Yeah. My local wallet, my local Walmart.
My local Walmart. Yeah.
And this is a Facebook app. So there's nothing that's been done yet on those, but they just announced it.
Correct.
All right. Wow. So what a diverse group of stories. Lamar launches their location-based travel app. Foursquare adds iOS 5 functionality, which is basically which is a good move, but not innovative. And the FCC requires every phone to have GPS by 2018. Mm-hmm. And my local Walmart launches their Facebook app. Walmart launches this app called My Local Walmart, and hopefully that comes out soon. I'm not one of the 9.4 million people that are fans of Walmart.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's awfully low when you think about their revenues, but 9.4 million. Wow.
That's just the U.S. So.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that's a good barometer. Can you imagine at some point that your stock price is not just going to be gauged by your revenue or your profit or your growth, but also the number of fans you have on your Facebook fan page? I think that's going to be pretty incredible. That's how influential.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart is not unlike Facebook in terms of reach, right? So
yeah, it's pretty incredible. They should. There we go. Walmart's going to buy Facebook, or Facebook's going to buy Walmart. You never know.
Anything is possible, man.
Yeah, for a couple of bucks. That's it. Those are the 4 stories. Let's jump into the funding because we have a personal connection here. Obviously, personal being Canadian. Two Canadian companies. The first story is an acquisition. 2 Canadian companies hooking up. We didn't even know they were dating. But this is Geotok was bought by Hootsuite, and both Vancouver-based companies, both great companies, and Geotok especially in that analytics for location-based marketing, which is a place that we are. I'm a huge fan of. I know you are as well. What do you know about this deal?
Not a lot. I mean, especially not in terms of the numbers. I can't imagine it's big. Geotok has only been around for a year.
Yeah.
Like all the other players in this space. Adarsh Palian, who's one of the founders, is a guy that I've had many conversations with over the last year, as have you.
Yeah.
I think this just speaks to the importance of being able to track and measure check-in data and sentiment data around check-ins, and and why we're seeing more companies emerge in this space. And I think for an organization like Hootsuite, it's going to take some time to integrate this into the platform. I think you are going to see the location data, come into the Hootsuite platform itself. For now, they're saying this is going to be maintained as a separate app in the short term. Anyways, we'll see what happens. But absolutely a good move, I think, and I think you're going to see more of this from other players as well. I mean, I expect Twitter and others are going to make similar moves. Twitter already has location data, so
yeah. What strikes me about this is that it's a burgeoning market, it's an emerging market, and I wonder if Geotok sold too soon. I don't know what the circumstances were. Maybe they couldn't. I mean, we're in Canada. Maybe they couldn't get the funding that was required for the next piece of this to compete in the U.S. Hootsuite is a very good company, high reputation, very high usership. But Geotok, I think, like a lot of these companies, it's so early, and they just spent a kind of a year building the product, and quite frankly, they had some of the best promo videos as well. So don't know what the deal size is, but Adarsh, awesome guy. I interviewed him for Untether a while ago, right when he launched the company. And just a huge fan of that. And the fact that they're both Canadian companies, that they stay in Canada, he stays in Canada.
Yeah, both Vancouver companies. So that's, yeah.
Love it.
So sort of like Silver Pop and Place Punch, 2 Atlanta companies getting together.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's like proximity helps. These guys, because Hootsuite and Geotok are not only just Canadian companies, they're both Vancouver companies, right? So, yeah, hanging next to each other pretty much. Hey, you know what? You want to buy us? It's kind of what happened, right? Over a cup of a cup of coffee or something.
Right.
So Hootsuite buying Geotok. We don't know what the deal is, but second deal is an investment. LocalResponse closes $5 million. It's It's been a while since we've had a deal, but this seems like a much more reasonable size deal than the stuff that we were seeing a little earlier on in the year.
Yeah, this is a good one. Nihal, who runs this company. I mean, LocalResponse is a company that's been around for a while. What used to be Buzzed, and then kind of got renamed. The interesting thing about this is the diversity of the capital. It's coming from all kinds of places. It's coming from Vodafone, Ventures, Advance It, and Progress. So there's a lot there, as well as some of the previous investors are in. This is a company that just needs fuel, and I think this is a fantastic move. I mean, they've done phenomenally well early on since they relaunched as LocalResponse. They've got some really big brands on board: Coke, Walgreens, McDonald's. I mean, lots going on here, and this is all about placing ads through a location-based platform. So this is an ad delivery network, effectively. That's got a location element to it, and they're getting some phenomenal click-through rates. I'm hearing 35-40%.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
35-40%.
Yeah.
35 or 40%.
Crazy.
My God.
Yeah. So, anyways, good on them. $5 million. Hopefully, they can grow. I suspect this is going to be, help them expand into some other geographic markets as well.
Well, I would, certainly, but 35 or 40%. I'm stunned. Sorry, absolute silence for me.
I mean, I got to think Europe with Vodafone and some of these guys involved. So.
Good God. 35%. Well, that's a good investment, and that just kind of goes to show you how critical this kind of stuff is, rising above the cream or rising above the crowd, because it is very crowded in this space, and to get those kind of click-through rates, they're doing something right, obviously. Mm-hmm. So is the next company that we're talking about, which is MovableInk. It's a small amount of money, like $1 or $1.4 million or something like that. They
1.3. Yeah.
But this is a company that's very effective.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because this announcement came out this week. I actually was in New York this week and met a guy named Ryan Pipkin, who's one of the key people here. He runs accounts over there, and was at an event that I was at and was telling me about the business. And it was actually I have to be honest, it was the first time I kind of actually came across this company. And and then the next thing I know, they closed 1.3 million, and you got Contour Ventures, Metamorphic, Kima, and a bunch of other big name New York high net worth people are also involved. So I mean, this is an interesting deal. This is also interesting because when we talk about location, we don't often talk about email, but that's where these guys sit. And what MovableInk is all about understanding in real time where people are opening emails from, and inserting links to Twitter and Foursquare and other things in streams into those emails, and kind of knowing when people are responding to them, and being able to kind of react to that, status updates and things like that. So it's kind of a unique offering, and I expect some interesting moves here as well, kind of out of the Place Punch acquisition the other day. If I'm going to throw a prediction out.
Well, yeah, you know what? But these guys, it's unique. Email is the dead cousin, right? It's like you don't mention it anymore, but it's still very effective. People are looking back at email marketing. You have to have a great email marketing strategy. But it's one thing just to push content out of there and just say, hey, look at us, which is what email does. Or here's our content. It's another thing to drive credible action from this. So, they use fundraising, for an example. They do a lot of fundraising work, and they put MovableInk on the bottom of your email that says, I'm 3% left. I got 3% left for my fundraising goals, and click here, and that kind of I love that kind of driving of closing, and it's completely separate from the content of the email, but it's just a way of awareness. In the early days of the email, you used to put your signature. Remember that thing at the bottom of an email, that your signature with a link back to your website? Well, that's what this is, right? But it's driving commerce.
Right. It's driving commerce, or it's going
proximity commerce
directly to Twitter, or creating a check-in, or anything. It's really quite interesting what you can do with it.
And so add time of day, right?
Right.
Add location, add the weather, add whatever you want to this, and the email becomes something of a little bit more of a breathing document, and that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So they close a little bit of money. MovableInk gets about 1.3. You said?
Yes, 1.3. Yeah.
Very cool. So Hootsuite buys Geotok. LocalResponse closes 5, and MovableInk closes $1.3 million. It's not a bad week. Not a bad week. If you've got any deals that you know of or are involved in or that aren't here that should be here, let us know. We'll feature them here for sure. We are always interested in knowing what's going on in the industry, and if we can't cover it all, so we'd love your help. So send us an email. You can reach me at untether@gmail.com or asif@thelbma.com. Jump right into the product of the week. Here is the fact. This is great. I mean, such an international audience that we do have. An Israeli company called Shaker, and or a product called Shaker, and what is this, like a Second Life kind of deal?
Yeah, well, the reason I want to pull this one out is, I mean, this is a company that's getting a lot of coverage lately. It's one of those companies that launched at TechCrunch Disrupt. They raised $3 million, basically right away, and then recently they just closed another second round of $15 million. So these guys are getting lots of money. They're based in Israel. It's called Shaker. And what it is it's a Facebook app that allows you to socialize with people in a virtual bar and hang out with them, with your buddies in Facebook in a virtual bar. And there's really nothing unique to that. You mentioned Second Life, but what kind of brought this home for me was and why I wanted to connect it to our podcast and location is we haven't heard a lot lately from our good friends over at Booyah.
Booyah!
Which effectively that's what this is, except that this lives in Facebook and Booyah lives, outside of that in an app environment. It's a virtual world, with virtual stores. H&M, is a big player in there, and a number of others, McDonald's, etc. And what that environment, the Booyah environment, is all about is this ability to go to these places and check into virtual store or brands. And get rewards that are you can redeem in the real physical world, and it actually solved an interesting problem, which is the problem of people's hesitancy to share their location because of privacy issues and other things. Well, maybe I'm more likely to do that in a virtual environment and redeem in the real world. And so Shaker, is saying, look, we're creating a bar. Lots of people are hanging out, and we can do that. And it's not unlike, what we talked about, the move from our good friends over at Turntable.
Yeah,
Turntable.fm. Right? Same thing.
Yeah.
Turntable.fm, right? You can go DJ, and here's an idea. Maybe you can DJ on Turntable inside of a Shaker bar. All right, guys, come on, get together.
So, is there a way to? Is there a revenue thing here? Is it a user advertising sponsorship?
It's virtual goods. You purchase virtual goods.
That's it, eh?
Yep.
I think it's innovative. I mean, I still would rather just go to a bar though in person. Do people still do that?
From what I know, but anyway.
I don't know, man. You have kids, you forget about that piece. But maybe a virtual bar is what I need.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have those awkward conversations.
Well, you gotta drink somewhere before you're of age. So.
That's right. That's what I was gonna say. It means that I'm not drinking alone most nights, right?
Yeah.
It means I'm in a virtual bar and I can have a couple anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, the virtual goods is the current business model, from what I can tell. But who knows? There may be ad revenue and other things that come into that. And I was sort of half joking, but I could see some synergies here between Turntable and these guys potentially.
Oh yeah, no, I don't doubt it. And I'm stunned that they don't offer that kind of music already. I think it's very complimentary, but you know what? I'm still an old school guy when it comes to these things. Yeah. I'd rather go out and shake hands or hang out with friends. And however, where are these guys located? So they're in Israel.
They're in Israel.
Do you know what their URL is?
I don't.
Okay, well, I will include it. I'll hunt it down. There are enough stories about it, but certainly they won TechCrunch just early mid-September. And I wish we could have. Oh yeah, so it's at facebook.com/ShakerApp, SHAKERAPP. So ShakerApp, Facebook.com/ShakerApp. Good on them. Nice international flair. It's a good product. Let's jump last piece here. Our resource. And I don't think this is a shock when we say that the public is not ready to whip out their mobile wallets just yet.
No, and you know what, Rob? Like, I'd like to hear what you think about this one because I mean, you're the mobile strategist guy.
Yep. Well, you know, I think that one of the things that I did participate in when I was in at CTIA was there was a panel there that focused on this exact thing, mobile wallets, and most people are. I think the biggest inhibitor. I think what they're talking about here is that they don't have. What are the inhibitors here? 52% say that they won't do it because it's a slow connection. 48% say it's the lack of need, and 15%. So they don't trust the security of the mobile device. And I think that's the big thing here is security. The numbers that I got from MEF, which was the Mobile Entertainment Forum, which is a different group that has a huge, like a 200-page, 8,800 person survey that came back, and basically what they're saying is about a quarter of the people there are much more concerned about security and theft than they are about anything else. But this is kind of in line with what I would assume that everybody's doing out there. There's a point in the panel, and it'll be up on Untether.tv. This panel this coming week, and the point of the panel was there was a guy who put up his hand at the end of this panel. It was a great panel with this is with Gary Schwartz.
Yep.
I mean, you talk about a guy who understands the space. But he had some panelists here, a great panelist, but he, an audience member put up their hand and asked a question. He said, okay, so which mobile wallet do I buy? Like, that's what people are trying to figure out. Is it Google Wallet? Is it MoPay? Is it PayPal? Is it Visa, ISIS? Right. What? And, great question. And I think that that's what people are confused about when you think about, do I have multiple wallets? The response floored me. And you'll see it in the video. If it's near the end, obviously, the questions. And he said, most consumers are going to have one or two, maybe three mobile wallets. And I said, wrong. That is going to stop people from having this, is that I have a wallet with all of my credit cards that fit in there. I need something that's ubiquitous and that I can just use. And it can't just replace cash. Right? That's not the whole goal of this, is that to replace a currency, a portable currency that works very well today.
Yeah, no, it's got to be integrated with, all the deals and the offers and everything else that's going on in the space. I mean, it's, it can't just be a replacement. You're absolutely.
And that's the challenge that people are finding. Why? Why is this important to us right now? And I was at Gigo Mobilize a couple of weeks ago, and a Visa rep was on the stage. They were talking about mobile payments and mobile wallets, and the Visa guy said, it floors me. Visa's the billion-pound gorilla. It's the biggest, obviously, the biggest credit card facilitating company. And what the Visa guy said was, well, you know what? By 2015, NFC is going to be everywhere, and so our merchants, we're forcing all of our merchants to have NFC capabilities in their store, and if they don't, we're putting the burden on them. So right now, Visa has fraud protection that they handle, right? So if it's fraud, the merchant doesn't end up paying. What they're saying by 2015, if you don't have NFC, you, Mr. Merchant, are on the hook now for fraud. Any fraud that comes as a result of a transaction on a credit card, you're on the hook because you don't have NFC. And I don't believe in that either. So there's going to be a struggle here. And when it comes to mobile wallets, is that nobody's found a really compelling reason to convince even me that it's of value.
And that's the issue. It's about getting people. It's changing behavior, right?
Who wants to do that?
Behavior, and just getting people comfortable with doing mobile finance and making payments from their mobile device, regardless of what wallet it is.
Yeah.
All right. And this same study, at the end of the study, it says once people start using their phone as a mobile wallet, they do it often. Yeah. So those that are doing it, do it often. The numbers aren't there yet, but once you're there, once you're convinced, you do it often. It says here, 6% of consumers using mobile tap and pay services do so each day.
Yeah.
Another 36% weekly. Yeah. And nearly 9 out of 10, 87% of people who use mobile coupons do it at least once a month.
Still, on the mobile device. But it's not a compelling enough reason, right? So tap and pay saves you what? Like, oftentimes my credit card does tap and pay. I have MasterCard and PayPal, right? Yeah. Tap and pay.
Yeah.
So I mean, to replace that and force me to boot up or
there's got to be something else.
Yeah, there is, and you know, it really does come down to the fact that you're not just replacing a currency. You've got to think of a different reason to do this. So here's my scenario. Here's the perfect mobile commerce scenario or mobile wallet scenario. Is that I have Facebook credits. Okay, I have a bunch of almost ready to expire Groupon coupons, right? I have LinkedIn credits because that's eventually going to happen. I have some PayPal cash and I have some money in my bank account and I have a credit card. All right. I'm sitting in a restaurant. I want to pull out my mobile wallet and I want to use that all as combined to currency to pay for the meal that I've just eaten. Do that.
Okay.
Right? That's what mobile commerce is supposed to be able to do, or an e-wallet is that. Because currency is not just dollar bills anymore. It is Facebook credits. It is expiring Groupons. It is all these things. So don't look at just assimilating all my credit cards. Look at giving me a way to use everything that I have as a currency to pay for a hard good. Do that. I'm in.
Yeah. All right.
That's my rant.
Preach it, man.
All right. So that was it. But this is, I mean, it's worthwhile. It's a good read. You'll get a sense of it. It'll just reinforce exactly why you know it hasn't had wide adoption yet, and it's not because NFC isn't available. We can do this today. We're just as humans, this is a behavioral change. We're not ready for it yet. It will come though. And that's Resource, the complete mobile wallet survey.
That's it. Done.
God, I can't believe it. Woohoo! Episode 47. So we will get a full report of this location. What is it? LocNav. LocNav. When you are when you're back when we connect next week or the end of this week for episode number 48.
Mm-hmm.
And Exhausted Asif will be here.
I will.
All right, and the World Series will have started now because as we sit here, it is 11-6. St. Louis over Milwaukee, top of the 6th, Game 6.
Come on, I want those Brewers back in it.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny that, I mean, I'm an old guy. 1982, St. Louis played Milwaukee in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Obviously, Milwaukee came over to the National League, so now they're playing each other in the National League Championship Series. But a little bit of trivia right there. They faced each other in 82 in the World Series. St. Louis won. Or did Milwaukee win? St. Louis won. All right. That's it for episode number 47 of Asif. We won't keep anybody awake any longer. We really appreciate you guys. If you have any comments or feedback about this, let us know. Reach out, untether@gmail.com or asif@thelbma.com. Follow us on Twitter. Remember that you can also register for our RSS streams. We're in iTunes. You can subscribe. You'll get it in your inbox the minute this actually gets published, which is usually about 12 hours before it actually goes online. So when this is, if you want a little bit of a sneak preview, you want to be smarter than your friends, sign up for the iTunes feed and you'll get it probably 12 hours before. You'll be smarter. You'll be 12 hours smarter.
There you go.
All right.
Got to jump.
Got to jump on your competition. Asif, listen, man, safe travels this week. Enjoy the weather. Man. So hi to Schneider Mike and the boys.
Will do. And
we will see you next week for episode number 48 of This Week in Location-Based Marketing. See you, man.
All right.